I don't, it's like I don't know what to say and where to start, but also I have so much to say and I don't know if there's any overlap with any of it. I just feel like my YouTube channel used to be a place where I was like, my vlogs were more of like me talking about how I'm feeling or, right? Isn't that how they kind of work? Like, yes, I would show things and what I was doing, but I feel like I also, maybe not was more personal. I guess I don't ever like sit down and talk to my camera like it's a therapist that doesn't offer any input, which I used to do. So it's more so just like feelings, thoughts, emotions I'm having that are honestly what I consider to be like really the only thing that's important in life. Like, yeah, having fun is necessary, working is necessary, all that, but like I'm in my brain all day. Even though I feel like I work all the time, I still feel like 90% of my existence is like the mental struggle. I don't know. I don't know if it's like this for everyone. I don't know if it's an ADHD thing. I don't know if it's just how my brain is, because I truly have been like this since I was fucking born. I just feel like the things that I think about throughout the day and the feelings that I have, if I try to express them to anyone, there's only been like one person in my lifetime where I feel like I can tell them what I'm thinking and feeling and I don't have to like dumb it down. I'm not trying to sound like, first of all, I'm not trying to sound like no one understands me, but I'm also not trying to be like no one's intelligent enough to get what I mean. Because it's not that, it's like just one of those things where it's like this storm of, I think I naturally had a high emotional intelligence from birth. Because of things that have happened in life, I've had to work on, I mean, everyone should be working on themselves, but like, I've been in very like rigid situations where I have to solely work on like my mental health. I don't know what I'm trying to say. It's just like a perfect, terrible storm. I don't know which one it is. I literally, of a lot of emotional awareness and intelligence and curiosity, empathy. Also on like the flip side, like instead of like emotional intelligence, like I literally spend all my free time like this is gonna sound so dumb. I spend like all of my free time like researching things and learning about them, and like I literally pay for subscriptions to like scholarly articles, and like I used to do ghostwriting for a lot of, I don't know, I just, it's, and I know there's people out there that are like that, totally, obviously, and there's people out there that are so emotionally attuned with themselves and with others and are so able to identify feelings and also like what's beneath that feeling and what kind of triggered that feeling and then like what's even beneath that, like I do. I wasn't always able to do that. I've always been a very feelingsy person. If you've taken like the Myers-Briggs test, I'm an ENFP. As I became an adult and like through the help of like therapy and also going through really hard things and being around people who are going through similarly hard things and taking all of that in, taking in all of that experience, also then I think moving away on my own at a young age and being independent forced me to tackle a lot of things early on. I don't know, I feel like I got a lot better at, for example, like if I ask a friend like how they're feeling or whatever and they're like, I'm mad. I'm like, why are you mad? In my head, I want to dissect like, well, anger is like a more surface emotion. Beneath that is like hurt, frustration, like because of like being betrayed or like feeling isolated or feeling like your independence is threatened, or there are so many things that actually are the cause of anger, but like not many people, and I think honestly I kind of I don't know, I go back and forth with would I rather be the way that I am or would I rather be sort of the opposite, which I'm just going to use my boyfriend as an example because he is very much like doesn't think he's gone through anything hard in life, and like on the outside he hasn't. Obviously like everyone, even if they didn't think they had a traumatic childhood or they had nothing wrong with their childhood, like there's always something there, and like I'm able to see those things and like sometimes I point them out, but he's like, but it didn't bother me, and I'm like, but I can literally see the connection of like how you act now as an adult. But it's just like I don't know, would I rather be lacking emotional intelligence and awareness or would I rather be how I am? And recently for like the past year I'm like, god fucking damn, like it's not that I would rather be the opposite, but I wish I could find someone who can relate. Who can relate? And this feels really fucking weird I don't want this to sound like it's like, I don't know. I'm just, of course, thinking about a million things. I don't want this to come off as like some sort of weird ego trip, because I feel as though it's, for me personally, it's like the opposite. Like it's actually like the cause of my feeling like inadequate and not worthy, because I can really put a lot into something. I'm gonna use my relationship as an example because, well, to be honest, that's where it's been showing up the most for the past year, almost. Things are rocky. I think probably a lot of people can relate to this on some sort of level, where like you put in so much effort into a relationship constantly and consistently, and you tolerate shit that you shouldn't, and you go above and beyond in every way. Like, what's your love language? Oh, it's physical touch. Well, I'll give you that, but I'm also gonna give you every other fucking thing constantly and more. What's my love language? Oh, acts of service, words of affirmation. I don't think you've ever offered that to me, because yours is physical touch, so you think that giving me physical touch is what will make me feel loved, even though I constantly say that's not it. Putting up with a lot of shit. I don't even want to go down, like, get into I don't want to get into my issues, that's literally what I'm doing. But I don't want to go down specifically that path of my issues where I will stay in a relationship where I'm not being treated, not even equally, but like not fairly or well, or let alone like I'm valued and like appreciated. Someone like loves my brain, you know, and my heart. It doesn't just want to like push away any emotions that aren't just having fun. Something is happening outside, it's very windy. Like, that's a separate thing. I mean, it's related, but I'm not gonna go down like that path. Like, okay, if all of this is true, I should leave. Yes, we know this, okay. If you don't get it, then don't comment. If you get it, then you get it. But like, it's where you're in that situation for so long and you're just literally occasionally given breadcrumbs, but then even those breadcrumbs are like usually like a future promise, and they tide you over through all the bullshit, and you keep doing all the good and wonderful and nice, thoughtful, whatever things for that person, and you are like nothing but like adding value to their life. And then like once that future promise, once the date arrives, it didn't hold up, and then you're devastated because you're like, you just manipulated me, like you said all of this stuff just so that I would stay with you, and then didn't follow through with anything. There have now been like over 50 things, big things, probably thousands of little things, but like big things that I was promised or that I didn't even like ask for. Like some of them I did ask for, like to be listened to and not interrupted all the time, but like certain things were like offered and promised and like insisted upon, and they were great things and things that honestly every relationship should have just naturally. So it wasn't going above and beyond, it was quite literally the bare minimum, and they just never have happened. I feel like I'm going, like, this is going so many different ways right now, but I think I started talking about that as to explain why I'm trying to say, like, I'm not trying to sound like anything other than when you go through that and you don't feel like you're worth anything because you can be way too good to someone, just to put it very simply, be way too good to someone and be also way too forgiving of their actions and inactions and words, and then also feel like you're not even treated like a human. And like, if you want something very basic and something that like intrinsically should be in a relationship, again, I'm using this as an example because it's relevant in my life, but that makes me feel like I must be so fucking worthless. And if not that, if it's not me that's worthless, then still this person who in my eyes I'm like, they should see me as very like valuable and amazing and they at least don't see me as valuable. And it's almost like, well, but I'm putting so much into it, so if they're not seeing me as valuable and they're not appreciative and reciprocating anything, then I must not be enough, because I can't think of anything more I can do. And again, I'm not going to get into like necessarily the psychology behind that, because obviously if you've been watching me, you know I've been in relationships like that. In fact, both relationships I've been in before this one, well, since I've lived in LA, were like that. but they've all three been so different at the same time. The first one was a lot of passion, and also the first one was from when I was 22 to 24, so I'm younger. A lot of passion, a lot of like heated fighting, at least from him, and then like so much affection and love and like romance, and there was like so much hot and cold. And that person, not that it matters, but it's interesting to me as someone that like studied and studies psychology. It's interesting to me because it's almost like, looking back on it, it's so textbook, but that person had borderline personality disorder. If you're new here, hi, I have cluster B's, where you at, tattooed on my forehead, apparently, only for those people to see. And then the next one was, for the first month, charming and not a lot of substance, but like I felt like it could get there. The rest of the time it was abusive in every way. The rest of the time it was like I didn't have a lot of feelings about how he was treating me emotionally or verbally, because I truly was scared of this person. It wasn't like the previous relationship where it was like if we fought, it was like I felt like my heart was being ripped out, and then we would work things out and it would be like the best fucking feeling ever. It was never like that with the next person. It was just, I was pretty emotionless, kind of just like turned off, shut down. And now currently it's, and that person was a narcissist, actually, narcissistic personality disorder. Other things that I'm not going to share because I don't know if they're like sealed in court documents or what, but other diagnoses. And then now it's sort of a very strange mixture of the two, but it's more like the first relationship I talked about, only like a million levels down. Like I don't feel like my heart's breaking every other day, and I don't feel like I'm on top of the fucking world every other day. It's just sort of like, guys, oh my god, what is going on? It's so windy. This is like not even what I was gonna talk about. Isn't that always how it is? How long have I been talking? 23 minutes, okay. It's not calculated. It's more just like unaware. Like covert, but not intentional. And like incapable of changing, if that makes sense. I want to keep it kind of vague. In terms of like my brain and mental health, it's been the hardest because it isn't like the last relationship, which I knew I needed to get out of, and it was just all bad. And it isn't like the one before that where it was so tumultuous, and like when it was bad, and it's like I knew that it wasn't right even though I wanted it to be. This one, it's like it could be right. Nothing is so terribly wrong, but I'm sitting here saying I don't feel fucking valuable or worth anything as a human, so it's just more insidious. And then once I was aware of it, it was still like, well, it's not. And trust me, I understand what this sounds like, but I'm telling you, like, as third-party perspective as I could be being involved in it, it could work if effort was put in. Not for me, bitch. I've put in too much effort. But anyway, I started talking about not that, but I really just crave. It's not even a craving at this point. It's like, feels like my soul is literally dying without like emotional connection. That goes for like kind of everyone in my life. It's not that I don't put the effort in. It's just like what I was saying in the beginning. Like I almost feel like I'm speaking a fucking different language. And like maybe and I guess I started off saying in this video that like I haven't talked about like feelings and done this kind of thing in a long time on YouTube. And if I have, it's been like kind of more specific, like talking about my ectopic pregnancy. And I don't know, I'm sure it doesn't come across, for sure not, definitely not like on Instagram or anywhere else. I think about like the halo effect. I just disagree, like at least personally. Just like to sum it up quickly, this halo effect is like basically the phenomenon that attractive people are sort of perceived to be smarter and cleaner and have more money, have like it's that idea that like attractive people sort of, I think the main thing is like that they're more intelligent and like more capable. I don't understand that. Maybe as a male, I think that kind of makes sense. My camera literally just said it's been 30 minutes, so shut up. Maybe as a male that makes sense, or I don't know. But all I know is that like it's kind of the opposite in my experience, and God, it's frustrating. I don't even know, you guys. This isn't even what I wanted to talk about. There's just a lot, I guess, that I could probably sit here and talk for hours. Probably not, because I would go crazy, but in theory, I have enough to say for this to be a 72-hour video. But I know I've been like staring this way the whole time. I'm just kind of like zoning out, literally staring like at the wall and the ceiling. I just have, like, I'm sitting here and I know maybe you don't know because I'm probably editing out the silences, but I'm sitting here silent, but there's a million things that I'm like about to say. And it's just like, to sum it all up, like, I just am carrying a lot of hurt right now, and have been for the past year almost. It's affected like the way I see everything. I feel like no, that's not true actually. It's affected how I see myself and how I feel about myself. Nothing else has really changed. But everything I was like about to say in silence was all kind of just going back to like, I don't really even know how to like describe the amount of like pain and hurt that has been inside of me. And like this, I can confidently say it's been the hardest year of my life. Harder than what I thought would have been the hardest year of my life. Or hardest, yeah, over a year, honestly. 2016 and half of 2017, I thought there's no fucking way shit can get harder than this. My birthday is in like 2 weeks, and I'm trying not to feel this way, but I just am. I just am feeling like I went backwards this year in so many ways, and I feel like it didn't have to be like that, and I allowed that to happen. Some things like kind of pretty much unavoidable, but most of it not. If it's all gonna end up being for nothing, then I don't know. I'm in such an odd state right now. I don't know, to be honest, I'm at the point where like I don't have it in me to like keep fighting for certain things, and I'm just so burnt out and tired from it. And I wish I could say that I'm like numb to it, but I'll feel numb, but then that'll go away and I'll be very emotional about it. And I don't even think I'm making sense anymore. I just think it goes to show that like what you allow and how you see yourself, and it's weird because I don't allow bullshit in any fucking other area of my life. Not to say that I'm mean to anyone, but I just like won't allow it. That's actually not true. I allow a lot of shit, but not for so long, like repeated offenses.